G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good and excellent in your part of the world. Watch review today of the FURLAN MARRI NERO SABBIA, and this is Ref 20203. Comes in a cool little leather case, kind of like an old school suitcase. So let's just pop the watch out of there so you can get a quick look at it before we start the jibber jabber. So I was down in London the other week for work and popped into the Time and Tide London store. Really liked the place. Great atmosphere in there. It's a nice place to browse watches and to actually see watches from micro brands actually in person rather than just online, which helps very much indeed. So yeah, this is certainly not a new release, but I think it's one that emphasizes what the brand FURLAN MARRI is all about. Before I get into the specs, yeah, there's quite a lot of commentary from the watch community that FURLAN are just a Patek Clamage company. Discuss down below, please. That aside to me, I'll put that point aside for a second. I think this is a really very good looking watch. Many brands try to do vintage, some get it, some fail. The Nero Sabbia to me nails it. I've also seen a lot of commentary as well online saying that the brand offers little different to what AliExpress watches offer, and I have to disagree completely with that. Quality of this watch compared to AliEx is like chalk and cheese. I'm wondering, so therefore, if some of the sour grapes around the brand comes from the fact that these guys have been very successful with their business model. Anyway, let's zoom in and get on with the watch. All right, so just again to give you a check of this thing. Nice smooth leather. Yeah, it smells really pleasant as well. So yeah, fun little way to transport your watches, and something that I've not seen perhaps of late with watches. So there is our watch today, and as you can see, to me, I don't know, that's just a beautiful retro vintage little piece. Key speckage then, 38 mils across, maybe one or two extra for your pushers. It's just 11.5 mils deep, and then lug to the end of those very curvaceous luggies is 46 mils, and then 20 mil lugs here. And then just let me throw it on wrist. Yeah, so my wrist is 7¼ inch for reference. You get 50 meters worth of watery not so goodness. I prefer mine around 100 as a minimum standard. Sapphire up top, but I mean overall I think it's an excellently sized and proportioned wrist print. And I think yeah, it's going to fit a lot of wrists. Very comfortable indeed. Zooming in just a fraction more to make sure there's no speck of dust on the top there, just to have a look at that dial, and it's pretty darn pretty. It is lacquer, and then I think the black and sand colors sit very well beside each other, sort of like a World War II sand color, isn't it really? Across the black, around the edge, just in case your Francais isn't that good. You get a pulsometer scale on the outer minute track. It's an odd choice, potentially a little bit redundant nowadays, but it does add, I think, a little bit of spice to the standard chronograph watch design. I don't know, can I get in a little bit more? Yeah, to look at the hands. The hands are very pretty indeed, curved and domed. But as I say, for me, that dial is really very pretty indeed, and as a dress watch, casual watch, it works absolutely fantastically. Quite a busy dial, but I haven't found, since I've been wearing it for the last day or two, legibility is okay. It's not fantastic in some lights because obviously, as you can see, those silver hands have a habit of disappearing a little bit. But I mean, yeah, you might just need a double glance to get where you're going. So we come back in to show you the pushers. So the crown is unsigned, but you get your little what's it called, Tomby doodad on the pushers there, which is really nice. I think they should have just done, gone ahead and done the same thing on the crown there. And those pushers then movement connected to up to a Seiko VK46. It is a great solid little movement, and as you can see here, silky smooth action with the crown. So yeah, very pleasant indeed. And then our pushers, nice positive crunch as it tricks off around here. However, I think this is probably one area where people, I support what people are saying. This is a £600 watch, and if you've got a £600 watch, then don't put a $10 movement in it. I think it's a common thread of late here on the channel as I'm looking at watches. I really wish that brands, specifically micro brands, would up their game in that sense, because I just think it's a fundamental aspect of their watches, and by not doing so, I think that it can backfire and leave some people, most of us perhaps, with a sour, mouldy, oniony taste in your mouth. And as I say, I just think they could have done something better. There's nothing wrong with that movement at all, but again, just price point. I just think it has an impact. The case body as well, I really like. It's a very nice balance of angles and brushing and polishing, just to make sure that you get a nice amount of reflection there. It's it's a little intricate, and perhaps it's got some slight Art Deco vibes going onto it as well there. Little engraving between the lugs there as well. As I say, really very nice. Your case back is super simple and clean, just with your little reference number down there. And the lugs as well, I was thinking about the case body again. To me, they're super curvy and fine. Very nicely done. As I say, lots to look at on this, and as I say, attractiveness wise, it gets a big vote. However, I also do think that we need to give credit where credit is due. A gentleman by the name of Francois Bourgel, he gave us some really stunning case bodies and watch designs, and clearly this is where the design ideas have come from for this particular watch and many of the others in the FURLAN Marri category. So again, something to bear in mind while you're considering a purchase on this. The strap is quite decent as well. Nice leather. I don't know what it's like wearing it for a year, because this is obviously it's quite new. And then signed at the top. It did also then come with this sort of handbag tan. I do like brown, but to me that's just kind of, I don't know, it's the wrong kind of brown. I do prefer like these little stitching aspects, but it looks a little bit like that. So it matches quite well with the sand on the dial. But I'm just not sure that for me is the ideal it's the ideal choice of color on that. Anyway, personal preference. There is no loom on anything, and perhaps again it's in keeping with that original design that it's borrowing from. But I like a little bit of loom on my watches, so I would have liked to have seen a little bit of something. In conclusion, then perhaps don't buy this watch because of the hype. Buy it because you think it's a beautiful vintage inspired wristwatch. The brand, I think, manages very successfully to combine that premium vintage DNA in a fairly affordable and well-built package. They've gone from unknown to very well known very quickly, and for fairly good reasons, although yeah, they do know how to play the marketing, but again, nothing wrong with that. They've clearly spent the money on the case, the dial and the hands, and I think in future releases, they really need to look at upgrading their movements. Again, those are just my thoughts. Over to you guys. What's your thought and take on this brand? As I say, a couple of years ago, they received a lot of attention. So I'd kind of like to let things die down a little bit and then delve into that. Thanks again to the guys at Time and Tide for hosting, for showing us around the other week. It was really nice to see the store. Thanks to you guys for your time and for your view, and look forward to reading your comments on this one down below. Cheers, guys.